So hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Many greetings from the queens. You will be seeing them tomorrow. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed. If you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. So today, on Monday, we spoke about job loss and how we need to talk to our children about the changes that would come about if their parents lost their jobs. And today, I feel the need to talk about how we can support our partners as queens the Proverbs 31 way. And I choose Proverbs 31 because Proverbs 31 gives us virtues and traits of a very strong woman. And I think it cuts across very many things that we might go through in this life. But I'll pick a few of the traits that would come in right now if your spouse is the one who's lost their jobs. And I choose to talk about your spouse being the queen because men are usually the providers of the homes. They've been brought up as the providers of the home. So for one not to be able to have an income and not being able to take care of their family really hits them hard. And our support as their partners would really come in handy at such a time. So I will start with being strong, graceful, and cheerful of the future. You've received news. You've been terminated, your employment has been terminated, your services are no longer needed. Your spouse has come back to you and they're broken, they're torn down. You need to step in to be that strong woman. It will be very hard, but you really need to step in as a very strong woman. And you really need to, and it takes a lot of grace to actually not allow yourself to stay at that position where things are sulking, things are hard, things are difficult, and you start thinking fast, really, really fast. Because at that particular time is when you really realize that things need to change. And pride needs to come down. Down, head, down. Pride really needs to come down. And some changes will have to happen. And you as the wife, you're the person who should actually suggest these changes, because for him it is really hard for him to say, now we need to move, we really need to sell a car. As in, it just feels like he is just becoming worse and worse and worse and worse. But for you and for me and for us being able to say, now this has happened, we need to be hopeful, we need to be focused, and these are the changes that will happen. We'll need to change our houses, we'll need to sell a car, we'll need to do this, we'll need someone gets to a point where you realize this is not the end of the world. We are not dying today. We are still moving on. Things are moving. And it will be difficult for you. It will be very difficult because we have a way that we think the society perceives things should be. And that is not the way it should be. You should not have 2 cars. You should not be in a particular estate. And I really remember this story. And it is something that I keep encouraging myself with. When we were growing up, there was this family that we were neighbors. And they were hit hard to a point where they were actually auctioned. And I personally went to a public school. So this was that family who their children used to go to a private school. So they really used to be admired. And then things happened and they were auctioned and they lost everything. And I remember the daughter, who was my friend, told me that they're moving to a lower place. I will not mention the place because that is someone's home now. So they were moving to a cheaper home, and it felt like their world was crashing down. But one thing I remember is the woman of that home never lacked a smile in her face. And I still remember her so well. And she said, this is not forever. And this is not permanent. And this situation is not permanent. And let me tell you, that family got out of that situation, came back to that estate. I think it was just a way of, those stepping stones? It was a way of them stepping back. And then they shot up and actually went. And now they actually live in Karen. And I use that story as a reference to any person who is in this particular situation. Nothing is permanent. It just depends with how you will handle the situation right now. So back to the story. You really need to readjust your life. You really need to put your ego down, put your pride down. And as a woman, you really need to be that strong person. That is another trait of a Proverbs 31 woman. You really have to be strong. And then you need to be wise and sensible. Where does the wisdom come in? The wisdom comes in where you really need to readjust your finances. You really need to readjust your budget. You really need to do everything that you can do in your power now to make sure that you get out of this situation. So this situation can affect women in two ways. Remember, there are women who stay at home and their role is they're housewives and they're stay-at-home moms. And then there's a working woman. So as a stay-at-home mom, it would mean coming in and finding a hustle that you can do. So whatever you can do and whatever extra income you can make, this is the time to actually do it. This is the time of removing that wig and putting it down and getting to do a hustle. And it doesn't matter where you were and what has happened. The situation now needs to be, this is an emergency and everything needs to be put down. So find a job, look for a cheaper house, readjust your life. If you need to sell a car, sell a car. Whatever it means, help your spouse to get out of that situation. Then for the working woman, it would mean you're taking both responsibilities, because I'm assuming you were sharing responsibilities. So now you're taking both responsibilities and you're taking them for a season. So take them and take them gracefully and work hard. We are hardworking people. Women, we are hardworking, and God has given us the grace to actually handle so many things, and we can do it. As I say, if you're working moms and you both had 2 cars, it would be my suggestion, it would be better to sell your own personal car, because you do not want him to get to a point where he feels he has lost a job, he is losing his car, he is losing his house, he is losing. Give him one thing that will help him hold himself. So if you had 2 cars, I would suggest selling your car, because unless his car is the one that is of higher value, then it doesn't obviously make sense to keep it. But if they're of similar value, I would suggest to keep it for him, so that at least he has something to hold him, because men have their ego, and that's how they were built by God. So let him keep it and readjust your finances. If you had some savings, use that saving to help your husband. This is help him nurture the dreams that he had and that he comes to mention. Because I usually think about someone like Michelle and Barack when they were sitting down and discussing about Barack's dream of becoming the president. I'm sure Michelle was like, okay, these are dreams. But you know, men have very many dreams, and our role is actually to listen and to support them and to cheer them. So all those dreams that were in the cupboard, this is the time to actually remove them. Whatever ideas he had, this is the time to actually put them on the table and push him to actually try it out. And it might actually be God's way of pushing your husband or your spouse towards accomplishing their dreams. And work as a team. Don't allow the society to tell you what you need to do, because the society has a perception of how things should work. This is the time you'll find people telling you, no, just take your things and go, take your children and go. I am really not for that idea. And I think if it means just keeping the few friends who will actually understand where you're going, then tie a knot and block the other people. And people should never meddle into your business. And getting to that point where you learn that you're not answerable to anyone apart from God, then you'll actually realize that this is your life to live. This is nobody else's life to live. And give him the respect he deserves. He should not lose his respect just because he's lost his income. So give him the respect he deserves, and even more, and be his cheerer, his cheering squad. And the Bible also says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. So the question is, are you your spouse's good thing? Are you your channel of favor? Because it says he receives a good thing and receives favor from the Lord. So through you, he can gain favor. Favor to get out of this situation. Favor to start living his dream, favor to try out his goals and his dreams and achieve them because of you as the woman. And God has given us the grace. And through it all, this season is not permanent. It shall come to pass, but it depends with how you will take this situation. So whatever you're going through, I don't know whether I have spoken to someone. Whatever it is, I pray that you will step up. I pray that you will come in as a Proverbs 31 woman and do what it takes to get your spouse and your family out of this situation. And one day you will sing and testify of God's goodness. That's it for today. See you again tomorrow for another day, another lesson, and another life changed. Please ring the bell and subscribe. Bye bye.